We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Carl Jung. How many times have you found yourself thinking that your life seems to be going in circles? That no matter how hard you try, there seems to be an invisible pattern pulling you back to the same places, the same pains, the same stories. Perhaps you started a new relationship full of hope, only to find yourself dealing with the exact same fear of abandonment you felt years ago. Or maybe you changed jobs, moved to a new city, but somehow the same old arguments and the same old wounds find their way into your new life. It can feel like a curse, like you're doomed to walk in circles. But what if I told you that you're not just remembering your past, but that most of the time we are all reacting to echoes of it, as if we lived wearing glasses whose lenses have been painted by our wounds? This isn't fate, and it isn't bad luck. It's a powerful unconscious process. But there is a way to break this cycle. It involves seeing with courage where the present ends and where the echo of the past begins. This video is for you who are tired of being stuck, for you who want to understand why certain patterns don't seem to change, and above all, for you who want to discover how it's possible to break free. I won't promise you magic, but I will show you paths. The revelation, the why. So, why is it so hard to simply leave the past behind? It's a fair question. Society constantly tells us to move on or get over it. But if it were that simple, we wouldn't be trying to understand why, despite all our efforts, certain wounds keep reopening. The answer lies in a discovery from the psychologist Carl Jung that changes everything. We human beings do not react to the present as it really is. The way we see the world is not objective or clear. We are always looking through lenses, psychic lenses shaped by our experiences, our history, and above all, our pains. In the back room of our minds is what Jung called the personal unconscious. This is where every forgotten memory, every unresolved conflict, and every painful experience is stored. These are our wounds, the abandonment, the criticism, the feeling of not being good enough. These experiences leave a mark, a color that tints the lenses through which we see our current reality. And without realizing it, we begin to project the past onto the present. This is the unconscious mistake. Projection is a defense mechanism that happens automatically. What we cannot see or accept within ourselves, we end up seeing outside in others, in situations, in the world. If you carry a deep, unconscious fear of being inadequate, you might constantly see your boss or your partner as critical, even when they aren't. You are projecting your own inner critic onto them. You see the world not as it is, but as a reflection of your unhealed inner self. You aren't reacting to the person in front of you, you're reacting to a ghost from your past that they now represent. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This is what he meant. Your unconscious isn't just influencing you, it's writing the script. And it keeps writing the same story over and over again. The explanation, how it works. How does this actually play out in real life? Let's walk through an example together. Imagine a woman named Sarah. As a child, her father was emotionally distant and his approval was hard to win. His criticism, however, was constant and sharp. To survive this, she buried the pain and developed a core belief, a deep, unconscious feeling that she is fundamentally not good enough. Now, as an adult, Sarah is in a relationship with Mark, a kind and stable partner. To navigate the world, she has developed what Jung called a persona, a social mask. Her mask is that of an independent, competent woman who has it all together. It's a mask that serves to hide what she believes is a weak and shameful part of herself. One evening, Mark is looking at their shared budget and gently says, "Hey, we should probably correct this figure here so we're on track." It's a neutral, collaborative comment. But Sarah doesn't hear a collaborative partner. The moment she hears the feedback, her unconscious mind begins to play an old story. Through the stained lenses of her past, she is no longer looking at Mark, her loving partner. She is looking at her critical, unpredictable father. Her reaction is immediate and feels much bigger than the situation itself. A wave of intense shame and anger washes over her. "Why are you always checking up on me?" she snaps. "Do you think I can't do anything right?" Mark is baffled. He was just talking about a spreadsheet. But Sarah is no longer in the present moment. She is reacting to an echo of the past. Her reaction isn't about the budget, it's about a lifetime of feeling not good enough. She is projecting her own internalized sense of failure onto him, and by doing this, she unconsciously turns a safe, loving partner into the critical figure from her past. This is how the cycle continues. The past becomes a living force that, when left unconscious, distorts the present into its own image. If this content is making sense to you, and if you are starting to see your own patterns in this explanation, take a moment to click the subscribe button and support the channel. Thank you for your support. It helps more people find their way out of these painful loops. The solution: what now? So we've identified the mistake and seen how it operates. The most important question is, how do we stop it? How can we clean these lenses? The answer isn't to fight the feeling or to shame yourself for it. The path to freedom comes from looking at these patterns with courage and bringing awareness to them. It is about taking responsibility for your healing in the present. Here are a few practical paths that can serve as first steps on this journey. Step 1. Cultivate self-observation without judgment. The first step is to observe yourself with curiosity, almost scientifically, without criticism. When you feel a powerful emotional reaction, especially one that seems bigger than the situation would justify, that is your cue. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Does the emotion I feel seem bigger than the fact itself would justify? You're listening for the resonance of the past. This practice creates a crucial space between a trigger and your reaction. In that space, you can find choice. Step 2. Keep a reflective journal. Jung believed that writing helps to give shape to what is unconscious. A journal doesn't need to be a novel. It's enough to write at the end of the day, asking yourself, in which moments did I feel most shaken today? Who or what does this feeling remind me of from my past? By doing this, you are making a conscious link between the present trigger and the original wound. You start to see the pattern clearly. The overwhelming pain is the ghost of your past, and when you can see the ghost for what it is, it starts to lose its power. Step 3. Withdraw the projection and own your feeling. This is a powerful step. Once you've observed the reaction and started to understand its origin, you can begin to consciously reclaim your feeling. It's an internal process of taking responsibility for the story your mind is telling. It can be a simple internal statement. I recognize that I am seeing my old boss's distrust in my new manager's face. My manager is just my manager. This fear of being unfairly judged is my fear from my past. In safe relationships, this can even become a conversation. After cooling down, Sarah could say to Mark, "I realize my reaction earlier was really intense. When you brought up the budget, it touched on some old feelings for me about being criticized. It wasn't about you, and I'm sorry. This isn't about making excuses. It's about bringing authenticity into your life and stopping the cycle of blame. Withdrawing the projection is the act of bringing yourself fully into the present moment." The bigger picture. As you begin this work, it's helpful to know that you are not alone in this. Jung believed that beneath our personal history, there is a collective unconscious, a shared layer of the human psyche that contains archetypes, universal symbols and patterns like the hero, the mother, the shadow, and the wounded child. That feeling of being abandoned might not just be your personal story. It might also tap into the universal archetype of the orphan. Recognizing this doesn't diminish your pain. Instead, it places your journey in a larger human context. You are not broken. You are participating in a timeless human quest for wholeness. And just as there is an archetype for the wound, there are archetypes for the sage and the healer within you, waiting to be activated. You are not your past. The pains you experienced, the words you heard, the traumas you endured, all of this is part of your story, but it doesn't have to write your future anymore. The mistake that keeps us trapped is allowing the past to unconsciously dictate the present through these clouded lenses. The path to freedom is not to erase the past, but to look at it with courage, to recognize when we are acting in the present as if we are still trapped in those old situations. True freedom comes from realizing that often the one reacting is not the adult we are today, but the wounded child who still lives inside us. With every small awareness you gain, every moment you notice yourself reacting as if the present were the past and choose to do differently, you take a giant step toward freedom. The echoes may never disappear entirely, but with awareness, they no longer have to be deafening. You can learn to hear them for what they are, faint whispers from a time gone by, as you finally, fully and freely live in the here and now. Now, I would love to know, what about the topic discussed today resonated with you the most? Did you identify with any pattern? Share with me here in the comments. You can't imagine how putting this into words can be a first step to transforming everything. And if you felt that this video brought you important reflections, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel and continue with me on this journey. I'll see you there.